I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be, are you open to dating? Well, I've got an email here from a viewer, but obviously before I get into it, I got a quote I'd like to share with you. And it says, attracting an amazing person into your life to love you is a direct result of being ready, willing, and able to be loved, as well as knowing how to interact with members of the opposite sex in ways that trigger sexual attraction. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself so people will naturally be drawn to you when you encounter them along the journey of your life. If you are happy with your life and you have come to a place where you unconditionally love and accept yourself, you'll create the space and opportunity for the right person to show up to love you and be loved by you. So let's just go ahead and jump right into this guy's email. He says, hey Coach Wayne, he says, I enjoy watching your videos. They have helped me a lot to understand about life, business, and relationships. They're really inspirational, and I found out about through my brother. Awesome. We'll tell your brother I said thanks for the referral. He says, anyways, I have a relationship question for you. Currently, I'm working part-time waiting tables at a sushi restaurant while living at home with my parents. I'm 22, and after work and on my spare time, I try to spend most of my time on the things I love, playing music and building a software business with my business partner. I fucking love it. That's awesome, dude. Good for you. I think it's awesome, young guy like you, starting out. I mean, starting your own business, incubating it in your parents' garage or whatever it happens to be. I mean, that's how Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak started out, who founded Apple. So did Bill Gates, for that matter. I think they started out in a real small office or a dorm room. I mean, look at Mark Zuckerberg. Started out in his dorm room at Harvard. Now look at it. It's the largest social network in the world. So, I mean, big things have small beginnings, and that's awesome. It's like you love something, you have a passion for it. It's like I had a business mentor years ago. He said, and it's so true, he said, you got to love your business like a child, because if you don't pay attention, you don't give enough love to your business, just like a child, it's going to misbehave and cause you a lot of fucking problems. And it's really so true. And that's why it's so important that your business is something you really love and you really have a passion for it. Because if you're just kind of half-assing it, you're really never going to do the things that you need, really deep down know you need to do in order to be successful, just because it's just not emotionally compelling enough for you. He says, right now I'm enjoying my life because I spend every day doing what I love, music and business. Once my business sets off, I'll probably quit my waiter job. That's a great way to do it. I mean, I talk about that a lot. I mean, I've done that at different points in my life. When I was in the real estate business, when I had left my job at Syntex Rooney, I ended up going to work for, I guess, a little over a year. I hung my real estate license with a real estate company that was buying a lot of my foreclosure properties from, so I could basically learn the ins and outs of the business. And then once I learned enough, I left and went on my own with two guys that I had met there, and we all became business partners. We made a shitload of money together. We had a great time together. And even years ago, when I was working my life coach business, I waited tables like two, 3 nights a week just to make extra money, because I was working during the day. Obviously, I had my coaching business and I was writing a lot, but in order to keep my pay-per-click campaigns and pay my web developers, I was basically spending more money than I was taking in. My expenses were exceeding my revenues. And so I either needed to cut that back or I needed to go get a part-time job, and that was the best thing that I could do. It's not that I wanted to do it, and really, it's just something that you got to do. When you have a passion and you're really committed to your goals and your dreams and the vision you have for your life, you're willing to do those things. And I was willing to do it, because I couldn't go work full-time. If I had to go work full-time for somebody else, I could have made, obviously, a lot more money. But it was a means to an end. It was just a part-time thing I could do at nights and the weekend and earn enough extra money to pay my guys for the work that I had them doing. So I wasn't constantly sucking what I had put away, what was left of my nest egg. He said, yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs do that, and that's I mean, you look at Tesla Motors, Elon Musk, who was one of the original founders of PayPal. Also, SpaceX is another company of his. I mean, they were literally, I mean, they had I think it was 3 or 4 different launches where they had problems. And they had enough money for like one launch left, and that after that, NASA was going to be awarding a big contract. And if they had another failure, they didn't have enough money to make another rocket for another run at it, and obviously they couldn't prove their vehicle, and they're definitely not going to get a contract from NASA if their vehicle wasn't even making it into orbit. And so, and also like Tesla was the same thing. I mean, right in the middle of 2007, 2008, with things that had happened, obviously in the market, the mortgage industry, the real estate industry, all the banking industry, all the collapse and stuff. I mean, it dramatically affected his business, and he literally took every penny that he had made, every penny that he had left from his profit and all the money he made on PayPal and plus his prior companies, basically his whole entire net worth, what he had left, and plenty of money that he borrowed from other friends and family, he put all of it into Tesla to keep it going until I think it was eventually they got either some other investors when they got that $500 million line of credit, which they've just recently paid back. But I mean, that's inspiring when an entrepreneur has a big set of balls and he puts them right on the chopping block, and he's willing to risk everything for his dreams. I mean, that's what being a man is all about. I mean, that's dangerous, that's taking risk, and that's what women find sexy and attractive about guys and us being men, because masculine energy is about purpose, drive, mission, succeeding, accomplishing, breaking through barriers. Feminine energy is about opening up to receive love. And that's what we love about it. It's like it's like for us guys, we tend to like the softness and the beauty and the curves of women. Obviously, women like our roughness and our beards and our stocky upper body build. We tend to like in the other person, obviously, qualities that we just simply don't have. So he says, I haven't been in a relationship or dated for a year and a half, and it's been the longest I've ever not been with a girl. My sister tells me so. So your sister's, what is she, like the National Enquirer, keeping up in your personal life? So he says, I decided to take a break from my dating life to find myself and my purpose. And I found it so far. I think it's awesome, dude. You're 22. That's what being a man is all about. And you're being smart about it. You got a part-time job, and you're also making money from your business, but it's not enough to afford a fat lifestyle. And so you're like bootstrapping. It's like a startup in essence. So you are your own startup. And it's so much fun when you're doing something you really love and you have a passion for it, because I mean, for me, I work in my business all hours of the day and night. If I have an idea for something or I want to modify something on my website, I can log right in and make the change and do it myself. And just because I have a passion for it, I'm excited, I want to add something to it. So he says, the things that I want, he says, the thing is, I want to start dating again, but I'm a little concerned about time and money. My time feels very limited. I still have a few loans to pay off. My software business, my music, and my part-time job practically fills up my whole week. The free time I have is little. And I want to start dating, he says, a few of my coworkers I'm attracted to, but my day-to-day activities just consumes my day. What do you think I should do? Well, first off, the most important thing is your purpose, your mission in life, and obviously you're hard at work at that. One thing I would suggest, I wrote an article a while back called the ultimate time management strategy. So if you go to Google and Google Corey Wayne, the ultimate time management strategy, if you got a lot of balls in the air, that'll really help you, especially if your to-do list is giant and you feel like you're constantly crossing things off your to-do list. But it seems like the more you cross 10 things off your to-do list, you end up putting another 15 or 18 things on there. And so the time management strategy that I teach in that article will teach you how to figure out what the most important activities are that you're doing day in and day out, week after week, month after month, so you can prioritize things. So on a daily basis, what it helps you do is focus on the most important things on your to-do list in their relation to their importance in achieving your overall goals. So obviously, say you got 50 things or 20 things on your to-do list, whatever it happens to be. Then one of them's going to the gym or eating a healthy meal, whatever it happens to be. And so when you're trying to figure out, I got to go grocery shopping, I got to do this, I got to do that. If health is your number one most important thing on your list of most important goals to you, then obviously when you're trying to schedule your day and you only got a certain amount of hours in a day, obviously taking care of your body, if that's the number one most important thing, well, those are the items that you're going to actually work on first, and then you go on to the second. That's personally how I look at the things that I do, is taking care of my body, and health is the number one most important thing, because if my health is out of whack, if I don't feel well, then I'm not going to feel well on a date, I'm not going to feel well when I'm talking to clients, I'm not going to feel well when I spend time with friends and family, and it's going to affect the overall quality of my life in a negative way. And so the key is to figure out what's most important to you at this life. And you know, I think it's very healthy that when a relationship ends, that you take some time, you know, especially a long-term relationship like a marriage ends, or several years you're in a relationship with somebody, 2 or 3 years you're dating somebody and it ends, or maybe you're living together for a couple of years. So there's obviously an adjustment period, and I think it's healthy because it helps you figure out and kind of get back to the core of who you really are without the influence of another human being there influencing you on who you should be, what you should do, what you should think, where you should go, how you should dress, those kinds of things. Where you can just basically get back to who you really are, because it's all about sharing your completeness with another human being, not completing the other person. And so my advice to you in the situation you're in is obviously a question of time management, but it's also about prioritizing your goals. But some of the things that I'm seeing here in your email, it's like you say you want to meet somebody, but in essence, kind of like what you're doing is making excuses for not. You got 2 coworkers that you work with that you're interested in, but you're saying, oh, well, you know, I'm just so busy, I don't have any time, so I'm not going to ask them out, even though I like them. And I think that obviously is probably just a cop-out, maybe because you don't know what to say. But a simple thing is, like, if they're a coworker, you can just say, hey, why don't you and I meet up for a drink sometime this week? See what she says. I mean, if you've been reading and following my articles and my videos for a while, then you should be able to notice different things that I talk about that a woman does that expresses attraction, like playing with her hair, touching your arm, laughing at your jokes, putting herself around you, like wherever you are. If she seems like she always comes over and she doesn't really have a reason to come over to where you're at, and then she starts playing with her hair when she's there in front of you, those are signs to look for. She stands extra close. When you're not around, she builds you up to other people, like if somebody's putting you down. I mean, all those little signs, I mean, you can tell by the eyes. So I would say definitely read my book, because that'll help you, and some of the other videos. But those are just, you know, some of the signs I mentioned about the eye contact, or the playing with her hair, standing too close, touching your arm, laughing at your jokes, even though your jokes, you know, aren't really that funny. All those little things. If you're having a great time one night, you just say, hey, you got any plans later? You know, you got any plans tonight after work? She says, no, I was just planning on going home. It's like, great, why don't we grab a bottle of wine, or why don't we grab some beer and go back to my place and chill? I mean, if you guys are friends and you know each other, like when I worked in restaurants, people usually tend to hang out with each other after work, and so it's such an easy thing to do that if you already know these girls. Just get together. If you kind of see some connection there, I mean, there's 2 different women there. Obviously, one of them is going to be displaying more indicators of interest than the other one, unless neither one of the 2 have any real interest in you. So if you see some of those signs and some of those tells that there is some interest, just invite her out to meet up for a drink and see what happens. Hang out, have fun, and hook up. I mean, it's been a year and a half, and you're pretty on task with your purpose and the things that you're doing in life. But I think you're just kind of making excuses here because you got 2 girls that you like, and you're rationalizing why you don't have enough time to ask them out. When it really is, I think you're just afraid to approach them and interact with them. I wrote an article a while back called 3 Ways to Seduce Women. It's one of the featured articles on my website, so I encourage you to go to my website and read that, or Google Corey Wayne 3 Ways to Seduce Women. Or if you'd like to get my help personally with this topic or another one that you're having a challenge on, go to my website, click the products tab, and book a paid coaching session, and I will talk to you soon.